Hello everyone, I hope you're having a great day. And today we are going to know about pandas on our fourth day of Linear Algebra 101. So, before we dive in, what comes to your mind when you heard the word pandas? Obviously, something black and white and like a panda, right? The Pooh. If you are a fan of Kung Fu Panda, then you can recall how Pooh looks like, something like this. But we are not going to learn about a panda. We are going to know about pandas, which is a Python data analysis library and which is a very popular tool because it is built on top of Python and it is open source so anyone can see its code and contribute back. So we are going to know about it. So let's see the documentation first. So let's see. So getting started, there are some installation, but don't want to see the installation. So let's see what we can see. What kind of data does Panda handle? So we can see that in order to start using pandas, we have to use panda as PD. So here PD is a short form or a nickname or an alias so that you do not have to write the word pandas over and over again in your code. So now moving on to the next image here, we can see something new word, data frame, row and column. What is this? So we can see that it is representing something of a table, right? Row and column makes a table or an array, but why it is a data frame? Why it is not an array? So what makes it different from the NumPy array and the Panda here? It is saying data frame. What is the difference? So we can see that in the code in the given below, it is kind of giving us a feel of dictionary. So as you can see, curly braces, then the name as a key value, then its value here is passed as a list, and then again this one, this one, this one, this one, and another row and column. So you can see that it is assigning kind of um, three rows, three columns. So something you might say from previous understanding, it is a three by three um, array, similar like but it's not. It is a table containing of three rows and columns. So the main difference between the NumPy array and the data frame here is that they are taking the values here a bit different. So the data frame is kind of taking the value 2D but in tables and column format for its better syntax they are handling with the dictionary function of Python as it is built on top of Python. So Python is kind of helping us to understand the syntax and come to an conclusion on how we can assign certain values and generate the table. So let's jump back here. So now we know how we can import a panda as a PD as a nickname or an alias, whatever you can say. So now moving on to an example, we are creating a similar example here with a student. We are making a data frame with the information of student name, study hours, and grade. So let's see what we can see here. But I want to show you something interesting. So I'm going to comment this part out. Let me. So let's see what happens if I run the code. We are not seeing anything, right? So in order to see our outputted values, as like before in NumPy, we wrote our variable name. So we are going to write the variable name in our seventh line here so that we can see the resulted table or the data frame of row and columns there. As you can recall from previously, this is the data frame consisting of rows and columns. Now let's run this and see whether we get a table or not. As you can see, we are already seeing this table. So let's see in the full screen, there is a table of maybe 25 people or 21 data and their study hour grade and 0, 1, 2, 3, 4 are the index here. So Now that we know the basic two things, how we can declare a dictionary or add number of uh, rows and columns. So if I want to add a new thing, let's say a new key value here. Let's give a new pass or passing or something like great. Already this is a number. Let's give us something. What we can give a date of birth. Date of birth or email, whatever you can add an addition. I'm trying to show you how you can add an additional row or column here. So I'm trying to add an additional row. What happens? Let's see. So I have assigned the key value. Now let's assign something. I don't have something. So let's keep it. Let's give it a list of something. How many data does it have? 21. Just assume they are 21. Or let's make it aged so that it can be more explainable. So 21, 22, 20, 19, 18, 17, 16, 15, 14, 13, 12, 11, 10, 9. There are 22 values to be correct, as it is starting from 0, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, 0. Let's see, do we get an error or we get an error? Oh, I have missed one thing, the curly braces. Yes, and also for the comma. Now you can see we have added an additional row here, and it is generating a certain value from 0, 1, 2, 3, 4 to 21. Because I initialized the first value here 21, then it gradually went from 21 to 0. So we can similarly pass in another array information here, as like we given a information here, a tuple or a second 2D 2 dimensional array here. So now let's move to a second function which is a log, which is the short form of locating a certain value in the rows and columns or in the data frame. So if I want to generate something um, in the middle, or want to see the middle value, so let's say 7. Let's run it. So we can see Jimmy and her study our age and grade. So we can also see the data type, which is an object. So we can also check that. And similarly, we can also access this value by slicing. So from 0 to 10, so we will get the first values starting from the 10th value. Here it is not n minus 1 in case of the range. If you are dealing with the for loop in Python, it is the end value or the ending range is kind of n minus 1, but here we can see that it is not. It is also included, it is not subtracting anything, it is counting from 0 to 10. So if you write 15, it would show the 15th value, not the 14th value or something or so like that. I hope you understood what I'm trying to refer. So let's move on to another thing. So as I told you here, we can see the first 16 values there, not 15. But what we would do in case if we want to see the past five values, n minus one value. In case of that, we will use a uh, we will start slightly change the function from log function to ilog. So it would show us the past five values. You can see that we will see past five values. So this is the difference between them if you are trying to uh, access the values in base of the indexes. And we can also access the data frame through certain key value literature of the dictionary here. So if I want to see the data of Rosie, so I simply use the key value syntax. So here I'm telling that the dictionary or the data frame that search your key name key and whose value is Rosie. So we see the values of Rosie here, her name, her index, her grade and age. So we can declare a certain person with a reference to its name and its key value. So we can access that, for example, Jimmy previously. So we can also see Jimmy's result as well or information. So we can also use another way of filtering data where we do not need to use these two built-in function of the Panda library. We can simply use the dictionary syntax here, the key value relationship. Here we can see that without calling the function, built-in function, we can also do the same operation. So this is another way. And the last, and we can get the same result through query method. So you can see Aisha, you would simply get the same thing. So now that we know how we can search through the values and how we can assign the data frame through a dictionary format, let's see how we can search or filter uh, null values. So how can I know that if I have an empty value or not? As you can see in our previous still, we see that this table is kind of full. There is no null value here. There is no empty value. So let's see through the code whether it's right or wrong. Or cross check. Let's verify it. So let's see. So in order to do the handling issue, we have to write is null. Is my data frame null or not? So let's see. Let's run this cell. So you can see it is false, false, false. What is this false number of false is telling us. So if we are seeing this false, 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 it is saying that all of the values are filled and there is no null value. So if I had a null value, then it would say true. So we can also cross check in another way whether we have any null value or not. So by simply adding the number of null values in the table, because here it is a small value, we cannot simply go line by line and check it. So we have to do a shortcut technique, which is this one. So we will run this and we can see the number of uh, null values so that we can correct it and take action. uh, Now that we know some basic operation, let's export some data in the data frame. Now we are going to see, now that we know some basic operation, let's start exploring the data in the data frame. So we have a data frame here. We are trying to do the mean of the study hours. So let's see whether we can get the mean or not. So in order to get the mean here, we will assign a new variable, then pass this with a mean function. So I'm calling that df students, the data frame that I assigned before again here, and passing its value of study hours, and I want to know the mean uh, so that we can understand what is the mean value of it. So let's see another mean here we are doing for the grade. So just to make sure we are formatting these here with average weekly study hour, our study grade. So let's run. You can see that the calculation is done by the built-in function. So as a result, we can calculate the data of the certain data frame with mean by simply assigning another variable mean study, mean grade, or if I wanted to do the mean of the ages, the arbitrary ages, I can would simply write ages age equal to df, giving me now let's write another one. Let's do with um, data frame has no. I gave the age. Why is it saying it does not have age? I think it's true. So let's try the staying in one thing at top. Let's see. Let's explore another example. So now that we are familiar with some basic operation of the library, pandas library, so let's see with an example. If we were wanting to calculate the mean on the data frame, so we have to use a certain column or a row here. So here calculating the values here, which is age, not age, study hours. So let's continue with the next short example so that we can explore some data example or data filtering. So if I want to analyze the mean of the study hours, so I would simply assign the mean study, DF students and the key value here and do the mean because we are not calculating a string value here, we are calculating integer value. So we would get something like hello everyone. Now we are going to explore a short example where we are going to see our understanding in the pandas operation here. So now that we are going to know about the more advanced searching or analyzing here a little bit, where we are going to see how we can do a mean. So as you can see, we can mean study hours by simply following the study hours here in the format of dictionary key value. So if I want to know about the grade, so as you can see, it is giving me a suggestion. Let's see, right. Let's just repeat it here again. Let's not do that. Let's write in the same line. So mean grade Sorry, I misformatted. So here, one thing is that I'm rounding it to two decimals, so I'm going to write 2a. So we are getting 49.18 and 10.52 as I have written 2a. So it rounded me to two decimals. So if I wanted to see the value like for 4, if the value is rounded to 4, see, as you can see, we are getting 6 significant figures here right now. So that is something interesting. So now let's move on. If I wanted to see which one of the values is greater than another, so I would simply write study hours and the mean value. As you can see, the color file just gave us a glimpse of it, something that we can see, we can see or not. That was just a glimpse. So let's run this. As you can see, we are seeing the values that are greater than the mean value studied. So our mean value was 10.52 and we are seeing the values that are greater than that. We can see that the John's value is 11.50, Rose's value is 16, Frederick's value is 11.50. All of the values that are greater than study hours, the values that are greater than the mean of or the average of the study hours. So let's dive into another example. Let's say I have given a new condition where the passing rate will be kind of 60. So we do not have any assigned value here of the passing rate, but I'm introducing a new thing of passing rate. So I'm taking this cross-checking help of series function. So uh, let's see the operation between series align values based on their associated index value. They not be the same length. So now let's see whether it helps us or not. So this series function is helping us to impose a decision here to make if my grade value is 60, if the student's value have 60, more than 60 they have passed and they will surely show the passing students. So and we are going to add another row here, uh, another row and column here, another column which is the pass factor here. So I will come to a conclusion the passing students. So I'm concatenating this function with the concat and passing the data frame df students and the passes rename as pass and defining the x is equal to 1 for the table header for this naming purpose. So let's see what we get. So as you can see, it is already giving us false true, false true. So now, if we can remember, we have set the value to 60. So as you can see, then got below 60. So it is saying that false. So in the third value, Rosie got 97, which is a pretty good mark. So it is not hallucinating and showing us that indeed Rosie crossed more than the passing limit. So we can also introduce a new column and set in another uh, if condition, and based on that we can do another analyze or come to any conclusion. So we can also group these data with the help of group by function. So if I want to count the number of past student and their name, let's say we will see the number of passing is 7 and the name data type is here counting, and false is something like 50 student didn't pass. So these are kind of short analyzing tricks that as a beginner like you can explore the pandas library and the numpy library. If you are interested to access this file, please do let me know. And this is our session for today. We got to know about Panda, how we can assign a data frame, see a data frame, how can we locate values in the data frame. Then similarly, how we can access the values with built-in function and not using built-in function. Then how we can handle missing values just simply using the null function. We can check whether we have null values or not, and also calculate how many null values do we have. And we explored a short example where we can analyze and impose some condition on the data frame and come to a conclusion. So that was all for today. So now you are knowledgeable of Panda and NumPy. So thanks for staying until now. We will learn something new in our next session, which will be posted in my channel. So stay tuned.